Welcome to Christ-Centered Gamers' latest unboxing of ROCCAT's newest keyboard. This is the Vulcan 2 Max. So, uh, full disclosure, I have been using the Vulcan Pro right here for about over a year. This is the tactile version, the original version of the Vulcan optical switches, Titan Opticals, and I've been loving this keyboard. I use it every day. I love it. The only thing I didn't like about it was that these right here buttons, one of them was mute, and these other two were not media keys, but they did something else. They controlled lighting, which I never really do. But otherwise, this keyboard has been wonderful. So, this newest keyboard, the Vulcan 2 Max, is going to have some stiff competition in form of last year's model. Now, with that said, this one I did get the linear switches. This one, so you can see here. So we open this up. Instead of the browns like I had before, this one are the reds, which I like both. I kind of prefer browns, but reds are nice too. And a few other things about this new Vulcan 2. So first is that they have a new profile on the switch so that they can work with third-party keycaps, or pretty much all of them, instead of most of them not working, because they were a little bit lower profile before. Another thing to note about this new one, they fixed the media keys. They have play, pause, and forward and track and previous, and a clickable knob now, which is awesome. They also have dual LEDs for some of the keys, so you can have two colors at once, depending on how it's set up. There's also a translucent keypad that can glow RGB. I'm sorry, not keypad. Wrist rest that can glow RGB, which is pretty cool. I haven't seen it yet, so I really don't know if it looks good or not, but we'll find out. And let's see. So that's a good look at the front of the box. I'll give you guys a good look. And then I'm going to show you the top and the bottom. So you can see those tech specs real closely. There you go. Here is this one side. Here is the other side. And finally is the back of the box. There you go. Close so you can kind of see it. Okay. Now a couple things to note. Other than, of course, the RGB palm rest, which is new, the FN key shows the second LED for 24 keys with special smart functions on them. Profile switch keys, changing the lighting. But then there's some interesting stuff that requires swarm running, I would assume. That's pretty interesting. Like you can change CPU and GPU temperatures, answer your phone. It's got a phone icon, a mute button, all kinds of stuff. So it looks pretty interesting. Also and it still has their Easy Switch, I believe they call it, from their previous keyboards, which Easy-Shift, my bad, Easy-Shift. So yeah, pretty cool. So let's get this thing open and see what it's like. Oh, before I get too much farther, this has an MSRP of $229. So it is, I believe, their most expensive keyboard. We'll just have to see if hopefully it earns that price. I really loved the Vulcan Pro, which had a MSRP of $199 from last year. So hopefully it has $30 of value. We'll find out. Okay, so let's just go ahead and open this box. All right. So from what you can see right away, okay, this is interesting. Okay, first of all, there's the wrist rest prominently on display, and this is rubber. You know, I might like this. I might like this. Now, it has to be said that I don't know how well it'll survive an aggressive animal or just in general because it is rubber. I'm going to go ahead and take it out of this plastic and get a better feel for it. But it's already flexible. I can tell you that already. And in my experience, rubber might not last as long as, say, a hard plastic. But the Vulcan Pro wrist rest went right in the box that never left. It is hard plastic. It was not comfortable, right? I do use wrist rests, and I actually bought one after getting that keyboard because I needed something with a soft touch. This does have a soft touch, and I like that. I may actually end up liking this one. Let me give you first impressions by doing the old wrist thing with it. How does it feel? Um, yeah, I think I might like this one. We'll find out. If that's the case, this will be the first wrist rest from ROCCAT that I actually like. So time will tell. I will give you more information in the full review. But so far, I have hope for this. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and pull the keyboard out. So here we go, get a good picture of what it looks like in there, hopefully. All right. And we've got our, okay, so we've got our cable. Now this is disappointing. There's two cables for the keyboard. I hope it works with just one, if it's a powerful enough source. We'll find out. My desk setup, I have an extension cable running like channeled through the back and underneath because I use, unless I can switch computers. If I can actually hook this up to two computers, all right, that's cool. But if I can't, then if I have to use them both on one computer, I'll be kind of disappointed. So time will tell what this means, and I don't know yet. So this will find out. I just figuring it out as we go. Right, and here is the quick start guide in the box. So I'm going to put the box down to the side. And we're going to test a live demo here on whether or not this works. First, let's go ahead and open this. Okay. All right. So what do we got here? Ooh, this is nice. All right. So a couple things. This has the gray top, like the Vulcan 2 Mini, which I love this keyboard. All right, I'm going to turn off my noise removal so you can hear the keys or the switches. All right. So hopefully nobody walks in the front door. But yeah, I love this one right here. This is a great keyboard that I really enjoyed. I reviewed it recently. The video and everything went live. But you can see it has the aluminum top here. It's kind of a grayish color. Whereas the Vulcan Pro, right here from last year, has a different style to it. It does have a kind of a metal aluminum top as well, but it doesn't. It's not a gray. It's more of a black. It's not as sharp looking. I will say it's not as sharp looking. But here's what last year's Vulcan Titan Tactile sounded like. Okay, so it's kind of got that little bump in the middle like a tactile switch typically does. And this is the linear switches. So you can see there's no stop. It's just all go. Yeah, I love the look and the feel. Let's give you guys a good look here. You can see the red switches as I'm moving it closer already. There you go. There's a good look at that keyboard. Again, to note on the side, you can see here's the wheel. It pushes into mute and rotates. I love that. It's got the play, pause, and previous and next track. All on dedicated buttons, which I think is fantastic. Another thing to notice, it's got dual levels of feet, 1 and 2, if you want to prop it up that way. It's also got big rubber platforms on the bottom right here and on here to keep it from sliding. It is all plastic on the bottom. Here's a ridge for inserting the wrist rest, this guy right here. You can also see the channels for the RGB, which is kind of silly, but you know, if you're into RGB, I think it's, you know, it's great. I like some color, but I don't want my whole room to glow, if that makes sense. I just want just enough where I can see the keys. I usually keep it on the lowest brightness setting typically. But yeah, this does feel nice. I can never decide if I like reds or browns better. I typically prefer browns, but I do like reds as well. I'm going to go ahead and put this in here since this wrist rest really does have a good chance of surviving my evaluation here as being a good thing here. If I can figure out how to get this in, that'd be fabulous. Boy, this is interesting. Let me try laying it upside down and doing that way. See if I can figure this out. because it's got little channels, and there's a whole bunch of them, and you kind of have to stick it in there and line them all up. This is not great. Is this going to stay or what? All right, this design is not, it doesn't really stay in. It just kind of wants to flop out. I'm not impressed with the way it goes in. All right, there we go. It's finally attached. It's staying. Okay, well, it's not a very strong connection. I feel like if you pull on it at all, it's going to come back out. But yeah, first impressions of the wrist rest are really good. Okay, let me plug this in, and we will see what it looks like. And we'll see if it requires 2 plugs. I did prepare and get 2 plugs for my laptop, so we'll see how that goes. Okay. All right, let me just start with just one and see what it does. Oh, it does have its own built-in Velcro strap, which I'm really appreciative of. I always add Velcro straps to my own cables because they're really convenient. So I'm glad that this does that. All right, so one cable. Okay, one alone seems to be enough, which is great. I'm going to try to get this out of frame as much as I can. It's a very thick cable, I tell you. It's really thick. So that is some serious lighting. Wow. Okay. Yep, I am indeed adjusting the Windows volume. Pop open Notepad. Test of the ROCCAT keyboard. Love it. Looks great. Let me see if I can change the lighting. Yep, I can go to different. There's white. So I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of got a whitish pinkish color on the bottom. When I went to this color, it's actually kind of white and pink together. Interesting. Oh, and when I push the function key, even the wrist rest also adjusts. I don't want rainbows. So, yeah, interesting. All right. It's the brightness. So it does have a couple, just 2 lighting profiles out of the box. Let me try changing. Okay, so this is just white. This is just red. Oh, there we go. I like red. I don't usually use it, but I do like it. And you can see that the profile, like the wrist rest is that same red. And this key right here for the 3rd profile is glowing. Let me try 4th is blue. Yeah, I like blue. So I'm a blue guy. And you can see the 4th LED right here is also glowing blue. And so is the wrist rest. Very interesting. Yeah, so this also has some features I don't want to test in the middle of a review in case it does something to my recording. Because I am connecting this to the same computer that I'm recording from. One thing I will try real quick is swapping this cable on the end to the other one and see if it still works. See if one of them is just for, okay, yeah, so it turns out that one of them is just for extra power. This other cable, so this one does nothing. This one does everything. This one is just for extra power in case you need it. I don't think there's a way to really tell that from looking at it, unfortunately. It's going to be trial and error if you're plugging it into your computer. But yeah, one of them does nothing, and one of them does the glow. So, pretty cool. I don't know what this button does. Maybe I'll just swarm. I don't know. All right, well, first impressions so far are pretty good. I'm going to be spending some time with this keyboard. There's no doubt about that. I usually just switch my primary keyboard for work and play when I review a keyboard. And I'll definitely be doing that here. I love the aluminum, anodized aluminum top. It just feels more premium than the old Vulcan Pro with its ridged design. This feels more premium. It's also got a cooler to the touch, which I kind of like. Again, I appreciate the play pause keys here. It's got all kinds of different macro settings that I'll have to play with. I love that ROCCAT, as usual, has onboard profiles, so that's great. And it's going to take me some time to really get to know this new one. But, oh, and one last thing. It's supposed to support third-party keycaps. So I got some right here I'll test it with. I'll just pop off the print screen and replace it with the print screen key. Should do nothing, just shouldn't impact my, and sure enough, it does work. You can tell that this particular keycap set raises higher than the defaults, and you can also see that it does glow through it, which is good. I don't know how well I'll be able to see it with that keycap, but that's the problem with the keycap, not the keyboard. But these are PBTs, so I like having that flexibility. And it looks, and it feels nice. I've always really liked the default ROCCAT keycaps, so I probably am in no, and even though they're ABS, they feel really good. And it does not want to come off. But yeah, so I never felt a strong need to swap them out. I kind of like how the defaults feel, but it's great that third-party caps work as well. So, all right. I look forward to playing with this keyboard, and it's going to be a tough call to decide if I prefer the browns or these reds. But there's a lot of nice things to like about this keyboard, so I look forward to giving you my full thoughts and a full review. Take care, and God bless.